Welcome to ATI Pro Media, powered by Advanced Trading. It's Wednesday, July 24th, and we're live here at 9. The show, it writes itself every day, every morning. We don't know what we're going to talk about, unscripted, but here we go. We got a lot to talk about today. Our friend Tommy G, he's traveling. He's headed up to the Dakotas for the Ag PhD Field Day event. He is on the road. He'll be presenting tomorrow morning. So we got Connor and myself with you here today. We'll run through the headlines real quick. But first, let's take a look at LaSalle Street and look at the grain markets. We got corn up a penny or two. We got wheat mixed. Was mixed. Now Chicago wheat's up 4 cents. KC wheat up a penny. Beans are down 5 cents here on the day. We'll switch over to livestock. Cattle have traded on both sides of the market. We got feeders down 15 to 30 points right now, while the fat cattle up 20 to 25 points. Lean hogs, they're mixed as well, kind of under here. Looking at equities over on Wall Street, the NASDAQ, Tesla and Google are weighing on the NASDAQ, down 425 points at the moment. S&P down 75, the Dow down 338. Gold's up a little bit, silver's up, Bitcoin's up. What else do we got? Crude up 50 cents here on the day. That's kind of the markets here. A lot of moving parts here. Macro market definitely moving. Grains have had a nice couple days. Trying to see if we can see some continuation there of those rallies. Connor B, let's bring you into the show and let's roll through the headlines. How's it going, Connor?
It's going good. We've got corn up again. Nice, 3-day run, right? Yesterday wasn't the price action I was looking for. We had a strong open, and then we kind of faded into the close. We still closed up, but not, I think we still gave 4 or 5 cents back. But good to see. Soybeans, not quite the same story, seeing a little negativity. And one thing I want to talk about is this inverse that we're seeing from old crop to new crop. So we'll talk about that later, and just looking at what you should be doing. It's a good lesson in talking inverses, carries, old crop, new crop, right? So let's get into that. And so first one I have, it's a big deal. I think it affects something like 20% of Americans. We saw a couple months ago, we saw that they went to ban non-compete clauses. Yesterday, U.S. judge upheld that decision. The Biden administration ban on worker non-compete agreements. So like I said, something like 25%, a quarter of Americans have some form of non-compete. You and I are one of those 25%. We have that non-compete agreement. And so it's going to be interesting to see, right? They're saying they're unethical. They inhibit competition. And so no non-competes, interesting to see, and a big decision that's going to affect quite a bit of us.
Yeah, all across corporate America, I think of the number of people who have a non-compete out there and what that does with the workforce. Interesting headline.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. And so moving right along, I think this is going to be your territory. But we've got a spring wheat tour going on. What's it telling us, Brady?
Yeah, Wheat Quality Council up in the Dakotas looking at the spring wheat tour. Yields looking like they're above last year and well above the 5-year average up there. So maybe that's weighing on the wheat a little bit, but corn's trying to pull wheat up too. We'll see what the rest of the results are here the rest of the week, but definitely something to pay attention to this week.
Yeah, it's that time of year where we're seeing the wheat tours, right? Pro Farmer is in 2-3 weeks. We'll see that. And my gosh, I wonder, right? We got to see how August weather is going to finish, right? A little bit hot and definitely hot, a little bit dry. We'll see how this crop finishes. But my gosh, we had a good July, don't you think, Brady, in terms of crop, the ability, right? Low temps, we had rain across. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know in my backyard, we could see some really good yields in Christian County, Illinois.
Yep. All about how it finishes, though, right? And you've shared some graphics about, August weather's impact on corn market and on the bean market, which matters the most, but definitely set up here out of the gate, looking like we have a good crop across the board. But what's this heat going to do? You look at the extended forecast, got some summer temps coming, heat wave coming maybe, and lower precip in the western part of the Corn Belt. Definitely something to keep our eyes on here over the next couple of weeks. Will it entice funds to cover their big short position, Connor? I don't know. I hope so.
Time will
Speak
tell.
of
We can hope. We can hope. And
Mhm.
so that leads in, looking at this price action, we haven't talked about it, but right now we've got August soybeans are sitting at 11.13, November soybeans 10.71, right? I think that's right around a 43-45 cent inverse.
Okay.
And so I think we need to be cognizant of that, because right now what they're telling us is we've got the most on-farm stocks since something like 1984, 1987, right? The farmer owns a bunch of this, and it's on farm. And so when we're looking at that inverse, I want make sure you're aware that going from old crop to new crop, right? If you store it, if you hold it for the next 2 months in some way, shape, or form, you're going to get 44 cents less than what they're paying right now on August futures. And so be aware of that, right? If we're seeing, what comes to mind for me, I don't think this is in your area, but if we're seeing some free DP that lets you move it, and maybe you don't have to price it till the end of October, that's not necessarily for your benefit. So be aware that inverses carries, right? That merchandising is a big part of if we're going to move stuff. And so it's a good lesson right now. We're seeing that inverse in soybeans, and I got to think in the next couple months we'll probably see that come out, depending on weather, like you keep saying, Brady.
hmm Interesting to watch, and certainly something to pay attention to. Don't want those beans to have a birthday here as we roll into new crop and have those old crop beans get a year older. We don't necessarily want to see that, but yeah. Merchandising 101. We had some marketing 101 yesterday with Tony Dunker doing some premium
Yeah,
content. That was lights out premium content
fantastic.
yesterday. Always enjoy hearing what Tony has to say. What'd you think of this, Connor? What were your thoughts? Did you take a look at this video? Did you watch
Oh,
it?
absolutely. It was fantastic. It really she does a great job of just breaking down, right, and bullet points, asking yourself questions on your operation. Okay, if the first one and foremost, if grain has to move in the next 45, 60 days, if it has to be taken to town, right, we know that's going, plan accordingly and make sure we're managing that appropriately. And so
Yeah.
that was the
Don't
big
market.
one. And just walking through, right, if we're making sales, how do we prepare? A ton of great bullet points.
And she had some actionable, specific strategies for guys to look at if, that grain had to move straight out of the field and be marketed, or if you're going to put it in the bin. We won't go into all the details. You can pay the dollar a day to get that video and sign up for premium content. But one of the highlights, I guess, and I stole her graphic, and we'll give you a tease of it a little bit here. But Dees corn at the money, option implied volatility, seasonally at a low point there with that black line. Um, you know, Low volatility. That's a time when you're a buyer of options and not a seller of options when you have low volatility. It can be tempting though sometimes, and she talked about this. Her and Tony talked about this in that episode of, the offers you get out there to, you know, sell 24 and maybe get a dime or 15-cent bump to go sell an option on 25, and the temptations
Yep.
of that when you have this type of market, you want to capture extra nickel, dime, and quarter. But is that really in your best interest? I go
Yep.
back to the 2020 type run where we were, really bad bearish type news built into July 2020. And we just saw volatility. This is a look at that volatility just skyrocket and those markets take off. Things change. One of the biggest take home messages I heard in that video yesterday of hers.
Yeah, absolutely. 2020 is a great time will tell if I hope it's a good correlation and we can see a price rally, but it's a good testament to how fast things change, right? When we're looking at low volatility, how quickly things can change, right? 2020, it was the derecho, right? We saw production issues, and then we saw import, we saw supply, exports come back in a big way, right? Right now, we could absolutely see a derecho. It's kind of the same thing, right? We don't know where the weather's going to be in the next 45, 60 days. And the hope is we can see some exports come in and start seeing some buying. So we'll see with that. Great video by Tony Dunker. Can't say that enough. And Tommy, right? Tommy did a great job too.
Yep.
And just looking at that, having a plan, right? We know in the next 45 days, we're going to be rolling. And so planning accordingly is big.
Yeah. Oh,
Here we
Joe's
go. Joe's
popping in
popping
some
in the headlines.
live
Tesla
breaking
down
news
big.
headlines here. Yeah.
Go ahead.
What do we got?
I'll give you some. How big are we down here?
I was gonna pull it up and see what Tesla's doing. The Nasdaq's down 419,
Down
420 currently.
12%, down 12% today. So big down day in the Dow, and Tesla seems to be leading the charge there.
Yeah, earnings were off, and then Google's Alphabet. I think YouTube advertising was down. I think, and that was weighing on the Alphabet stock or Google, but definitely a big drag on the macro market. I want to look at livestock and see how livestock are holding up there. Typically, when you get those big sell-offs in the macro market, the stock market, that kind of bleeds over into the livestock trade. But fat cattle are holding up okay, still 35 points up. Feeders are down 17 to 30 points. So not too much price action on the cattle yet.
Yeah. Welcome to ATI Pro Media, powered by Advanced Trading. We're a financial channel that loves agriculture. For just $1 a day, you'll receive advanced trading research, actionable text, and a minimum of 6 videos a week featuring industry experts and insight. Click the button below to subscribe today.
There we go. That's how you can subscribe to ATI Pro Media and premium content. I bet you get your money's worth every day with that $1 a day cost point. Yep.
Wasn't really that. So, well, it's going to be a short show, right? Markets are hanging in there. Corn's pulling back a little bit. Wish Tommy, I believe the Ag PhD field show's tomorrow, but I do got to say we had him on. Tommy was on RFD TV yesterday, and I just want to say with his topic, Brady, you and I are doing our part, right? He was talking about declining birth rates. And, right.
Absolutely.
We're doing our part. We got 6 kids between the two of us. So
less Americans out there having less kids, but not in the Bridgman or Huck households. We're carrying the weight there for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I don't think we have any comments. Any other closing thoughts? For me, I think it's going to be right. That video really hit home for me. That harvest is in 45 days, right? If we're behind on sales, if we're behind on hedging, right, we need to get caught up. We need to have a plan. We can root for higher prices, right? We always want to. But let's have a plan just in case, because 2020 is a great correlation. It's a fun one to look at. Other one that pops in my head, Brady, let's make sure we're looking at 2014 too, where we didn't get that any supply hiccups or issues, and we saw what the price did. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Points. Don't outguess where it can go. Don't paint yourself in a marketing corner. I think that's a great take-home message. Got Joe Biden talking tonight as well. So that'll be interesting to hear what he says. A lot of rumors, conspiracy theories about what he could potentially say. Will he be our president after this evening or not? Or is he going to step down? There's some talk of that potentially. Luke throwing up that comment there, D's cotton below 70 cents. I've been rolling some cotton puts down, so it doesn't surprise me that cotton market has been going lower, because the cotton puts have been rolling down here with customers with put positions in place. Yep.
So speaking of presidential, this is big, great reporting. But did you see Trump and Bryson DeChambeau golf, and they shot a 50? Trump eagled the hole by himself. It's the ugliest swing in the world, but my gosh, it works.
Ugly can be effective, I guess, right?
Exactly. Hey, if it works, then it works. So
that's pretty impressive. I don't know if I could shoot a 50 with Bryson DeChambeau. I don't know. I don't think so.
Guarantee. Maybe I'd sink a few putts, but we'd be using his drives for sure. So with that, let's wrap it up. Everyone have a great day.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.